Well, a 90-year-old woman is dead Wednesday after a serious crash in Ogle County. Authorities say the woman, identified as Darlene Brooks of Forreston, died after her car crashed into a semi-truck. Shortly before noon, the Ogle County Sheriff's Office sent out an alert about a crash in the area of Illinois Route 26 and Springdale Road. Investigators say Brooks was driving east on Springdale when she entered the intersection and into the path of the semi that was moving south on Route 26. The driver of the semi, a 67-year-old man, was not hurt. The intersection was shut down to traffic for roughly 2 hours. The crash remains under investigation.